There's no such thing as alternative medicine. If a medicine works, then it works. If an alternative medicine doesn't work, then it's not an alternative.
Marty Makary.
Right. So he's a contrarian, and that's what sort of brought him into the limelight again. So he was one of those that kind of let the virus run wild. With Scott Atlas was there, Jay Bhattacharya was there, the sort of great Barrington Declaration, just let's stand back, protect the most vulnerable, people over 80, people in nursing homes, but otherwise let this go wild. And look at how well Sweden did. But first of all, Sweden certainly did better than we did. But Sweden didn't do better as compared to other Scandinavian countries, which is the more reasonable comparison. They didn't do better than Norway. And in fact, people in Sweden, actually, including health officials, in the end were very angry at the way that was handled there. It's when measles sweeps through a country, for example, all you need to protect yourself against measles is immunological memory. Because as you said earlier, it's a long incubation period disease. That's plenty of time for memory cells to become activated, differentiate, and protect you from even having mild disease. You can eliminate long incubation period diseases from the world. Smallpox is a long incubation period disease. Rubella, German measles, we eliminated from this country by 2005. Measles, we eliminated by 2000. Those are long incubation period diseases you can eliminate, but not these diseases. SARS-CoV-2, cause of COVID, respiratory syncytial virus, influenza virus, parainfluenza virus. Those viruses are going to be with us for the rest of all of our lives and our children's lives and our grandchildren's lives. And this virus isn't going out. Rotavirus is a short incubation period disease. 95% of children in the United States get a rotavirus vaccine. We virtually eliminated rotavirus hospitalizations. But that virus still circulates in the community, still causes mild disease, and always will, no matter whether 100% of people are infected. Same thing is true with SARS-CoV-2. You can vaccinate everybody in the world, and still this virus is going to circulate. And so, ultimately, high-risk groups are always going to be at risk. And I think, that's why it's so important to vaccinate. And early on, when we didn't have anything, I think it was important to protect all those people who were at high risk, which is probably, if you consider obesity and type 2 diabetes and those things as risk factors, which they are. I would say the most common risk factor we had in our hospital was obese African-American boys. So if you're counting those as high risk, now you're talking about probably about a third of the population.
Yeah. So I do think that Marty Makary had a right to have a different opinion, and the discussion should have been cordial and academic, and the data should have been put on the table why his thinking of just isolating the very, very high risk was not good enough for that moment. That was an opportunity that we missed. Whenever people compare our data in the US with that of Sweden, I remind people that Sweden is a monochromatic country. I don't know what the exact number is, but 90% of them are white, tall and skinny, from the same DNA, and they share the same values. The US is a pufflock. It is. It's just a big freaking pot, and we throw potatoes and turkey and whatever's in the refrigerator, and we boil it and we see what it tastes like. So you can't compare in a statistical analysis something that is just one way to something that has many variables. And so whenever they compare the life expectancy of the US population to Sweden, I'm like, you're not comparing the same thing. I do think that what I do like about Dr. Makary is that if I get this right, he wants to put term limits on the leadership at NIH and make the NIH more aggressive in moonshots.
He would be at FDA, Makary, right? It would be
Bhattacharya, yes. Bhattacharya. So I do think that if Bhattacharya does put term limits, that would be a good thing, because I think new people bring new ideas, new management styles, and lessens corruption. That's why the military won't allow you to have a post of command for more than 2 or 3 years. They don't want the three of us to get too chummy in one base in Germany and start doing little things that we shouldn't be doing. So by rotating us to different bases every 2 years, the person that comes behind me knows if I was misbehaving, and they'll report me.